All right, here I am in Phoenix, Arizona, a couple of nights after they've had some significant upheavals out this way, and I'm actually pretty okay with it. You know, they've already implemented the curfew across the country, and it's an interesting time for sure. But tonight we actually had our council meeting in Paramount, and I got a chance to listen in on that. And the mayor had actually said some things about me that I thought were really, really, really great. And I wanted to be able to take a few moments to share a couple of things that she said. Let me see if I can find it here. Let me see. No, that ain't it. Okay, here we go. So I want to share this, and I just want to make a couple of comments. Her name is Mayor Peggy Lemons. I think she's a fantastic woman, and I definitely appreciate what she had said. So let me see if I can share that.
And then lastly, I would just like to say, that we are definitely in a really emotional time and a time for introspection. And I recently had a conversation following the protest in Paramount with one of our commissioners, who is an African-American gentleman, Tony Warfield. He was present for the protest. He said that he specifically went there because, of course, being a Black man, it did hit him particularly hard. He knows what's at stake. He knows the attention that needs to be brought to this issue. But he wanted to be there to urge calm and a peaceful protest. So I want to thank him for being there and representing the city so well and helping to make that happen.
So, one of the things that I thought were very, very powerful about that particular protest is I was the only Black man there. We had about 60 or 70 people there, predominantly between 14 and 25 years young. It was a lot of very young kids there. And to be able to see them out there advocating for someone that does not necessarily look like them, it kind of helped me, it encouraged me a lot. One of the people that were there, he was like, man, we need to do more. We need to do more. He basically wanted to incite like more violence. And that's the whole reason why we don't want the violence, because the violence is what the government wants, because quite frankly, they want to be able to take control. And, I got my conspiracies, they're doing their best to try to eliminate the opportunity for us to vote the current administration out of office, by martial law. I got a few things that I have to say, but the one thing I will tell you that I definitely appreciate is when you have that many people advocating for you, whether you think these things are working or not, they are, because before we didn't really have this kind of support. Now you have pretty much everybody out there on the front lines trying to, they're protesting against this injustice that, if it affects one person, it affects everyone. And I'm very thankful for that. So, I implore everybody that's out there, don't sit on the sidelines. We got too much work to do. We have so much work to do, and, get out there and vote. And, we've discussed this before, people thinking about their vote doesn't count. Your vote counts. The president gets elected by electoral college votes, and you get electoral college votes from the delegates that are basically representatives of the states, okay? And, congressmen and senators. So in order for you to get better delegates, you need to make sure you vote out the bad delegates by voting out the people who put those delegates out there, which are the bad representatives and senators, So your vote really does matter. You have to exercise your vote, especially right now, because, I don't really want to give a whole lot of my personal opinions, but personally, I got to tell you, we cannot survive 4 more years of this. We just cannot. This country is already in a lot of trouble. And a lot of veterans, they might vote Republican, and they might really believe that the Republican Party supports them. And that might be true while they're wearing a uniform, but what happens when you come home? And too many of us see what happens when we come home, where, the majority of the homeless people that are out there happen to look like me, and there happen to be a lot of veterans. and there are not a lot of services that are available for people because, you know, they consider it an entitlement. They're so busy trying to strip all the entitlements away from people so they can fund tax cuts for organizations. Like I said, I don't want to really try to sway you either way, you know, whether you're a Republican or Democrat. I'm an independent, but right is right, wrong is wrong. And right now we see a lot of wrong. And, you know, what am I supposed to tell my son? What am I supposed to tell my grandkids? You know, it's okay for the government to sanction the execution of an entire body of people, you know, and you've seen it over the years. You see what's going on out there, you know, from so-called Civil Rights Act, Voter Rights Acts, all the different litigations that's come between now and the past 50 years. Nothing has really been benefiting us. But right now, you have an opportunity where people are speaking out, speaking up. You should probably do the same. The one thing I do not want to see is for everyone to be yelling and screaming and doing everything that they can to try to advocate for people that look like me, Black man, Black woman, Black people, and we don't get up and help them help us. That's crazy. You know, so we cannot sit on the sideline. We cannot expect someone else to continue to fight our battles. And I gotta tell you, we want the conversation to be about justice. We don't want the conversation to be about someone stealing shoes and surfboards and looting and tearing down everything. Okay, the rioting, when you riot and you burn down your own shit, who are you upsetting other than the people who need that shit tomorrow? Seriously? Come on, man. You need to understand that in order for things to work in our favor, we cannot do the things that our oppressors want us to do. You don't think it serves their narrative by rioting? You don't think it serves their narrative by burning things down? You don't think it serves their narrative by continuing to fight amongst ourselves, by continuing to fuel this hate, continuing to fuel this discord, continuing to make racism the topic? You don't think that serves their narrative? If you don't think that serves their narrative, right now I'm recording this video. It's 10:01 Pacific time, right? If you don't think it serves their narrative, then you must not be in curfew right now like everyone else is. So what happens when they decide, okay, it's just too much civil unrest, we're going to shut down the country again, you know, but not because of COVID, but because, you know what, we don't want you to get out there and vote. We want to take away your opportunity to vote. We want to take away everything that's going to give you any kind of semblance of freedom. Let's go ahead and just take it away. Why? Because you don't need it. You don't need it. You don't want it, because every time we give you something, you just burn it down, right? So why should you have it? Something has to be done, and we can't wait for somebody else to do it. Right now, we got a lot of people out there that are advocating for us, and I'm very thankful for that. But we're the victims of oppression. And if a lot of the oppressors are going to continue to oppress us, then we're going to have to continue to resist it. We cannot do that from the couch. We cannot do it with a belly full of chicken sandwiches. We cannot do it saying that, oh, my vote doesn't count. No, your vote doesn't count if you don't get your ass up there and you exercise it. It's our responsibility to do what we can to secure a future for our children. If we don't do that, why the hell are we here? They're right about us. Lazy, good for nothing, niggas, right? That's what they want to call us. But guess what? If you don't do what you're supposed to do to make sure you have a life for yourself and your family, then what do you call that? What do you call that? All I got to say is I'm not going to sit here on the sideline and wait for anything. You know, I'm not advocating violence. No, I don't believe that. Why? Because the one thing about violence that I will tell you, it ends up hurting people who are not supposed to be getting hurt. Our children, our elderly, our women, are disaffected, are disabled. People who are not combatants, they get hurt, you know? And then ultimately, when you start harming the weakest among us, that brings us down as a country as a whole. I mean, let's face it, the country's not looking very good right now. It's not. So you guys have friends, family, associates, comrades, whatever you want to call them, okay? Yes, protest. Yes, talk about the indignities. But no, do not riot and do not subscribe to all the hate baiting that's been going on, all the rhetoric that's out there trying to make sure they continue to separate us. Why? Because it supports their narrative. It does not support a unified country. It does not support a safe country. I've been alive for 49 years, people, and I've been blessed to be able to make it this far. And if God calls me home at any time, I'm ready. But I'm not ready to see my children die. I'm not ready to see your children die. I'm not ready to see anyone's child leave this earth before their time because we can't get our shit together. So we need to take the time and figure out what we're going to do and get our asses off the couch, exercise all the rights that we still have so far, and do what we can to remain united so we, as Americans, not African Americans, not white Americans, not Latin Americans, Americans, so we can, as Americans, fight against all this bullshit hate and come together. And guess what? While we're still fighting and everything else, our enemies are laughing at us. Yes, I'm a veteran. Trust me, I've been there. They are laughing at us. But at the same time, they're also concerned because we're supposed to be the beacon. We're supposed to be the light. Where's the light? Where is it shining right now? Because it sure as hell not shining brightly in this country. Unless that light, you mean the fires that are being set all over the country right now. We're serving their narrative by continuing to do this rioting and burning down and tearing down. So you can justify more of your rights being taken away from you. And at some point, you won't have any rights at all. And you will have handed all your rights on a silver platter to the people that look to destroy you as a community, as a people, all to serve their one need, power. It's bullshit. And you know it. So we have to do more, and we have to pay attention more, and we have to fight more, but we have to do it wisely. We have to make sure that we stand up, we make our voices heard, we exercise our right to vote. If we can stand in line for tennis shoes around a freaking block, and we can stand in line for chicken sandwiches, I'm pretty sure we can stand in line to go vote. And if you don't have anybody to vote for, fine, vote against someone. Make sure they don't get a chance to continue to take food off your table. Make sure they don't get a chance to enact laws that support law enforcement's destroying of entire communities. The murder, the sanctioned murder of your brothers, your sisters. Sanctioned murder that includes whether it's a traffic stop or you're having dinner in the comfort of your home or even taking a nap in your bed. Yes, we've had people be murdered and they get off because it was a mistake. No, it wasn't a mistake. It's not a mistake. But it will be your mistake. You'll be my mistake if we don't get our asses off the couch and vote these people in power out. So thank you for your time, and stay motivated and stay in the game because we need you. We need all of you. Don't give up. This fight ain't over. It's just really starting. Thank you for your time.